guys, it's me, Irina from Snailworks Crochet, and let's do a April crochet in chat. Little April update, as you will. So as I'm filming this, it is April 19th, Saturday, which, yay, weekend. But I figured that this would be a good time to catch up a little bit on my temperature blanket and share some April updates for a variety of things, from what I'm working on and just plans with this channel in general. So the month of March for me has been very, very, very busy. I was pretty exhausted and it was not a fun time. Mainly because I went on 3 work trips in the month of March, which is not fun. It's not something I recommend. It unfortunately just how things happened at work. The timing just lined up that way, but it is what it is, and they're all done. I don't expect to travel again anytime soon. I'm really hoping I don't. Yeah, after that I took a week off from work, kind of chilled and rotted a little bit, and now I'm getting back to my routine a little bit, which is what I've been needing for a while. It's just routine, and traveling in general just takes a lot out of you from any routine. I'm here to de-influence you from traveling if possible. I mean, obviously traveling's nice and it's fun to do, but traveling's fun to do on your own terms, not on company terms, you know? But on the bright side, I am slowly accumulating hotel points, so if I do ever find myself going on a fun trip myself, I can hopefully use that to at least pay for one night. That's a silver lining. But I guess outside of that, so the last time I made one of these, it was interesting because a lot of people were saying that what I was doing could technically be classified as a podcast, in the sense that podcasts are very loosely defined, but also a better name for this type of update is just a crochet in chat, or, you know, April update, which I tend to agree with. I'm going to keep calling it that. I think it will be beneficial and just, I don't know, it alleviates confusion because it's not like I'm talking extensively to anyone anyway. It's just me yapping about crochet. But in terms of like my crochet updates, right now I am in the middle of filming my daily content, and let me tell you something, that is interesting. To be fair, I'm uploading these to both YouTube and Instagram, right? Some of you have seen it as a short, some of you have seen it as a reel, depending on how my video popped up in your algorithm. But it's very interesting because I know conceptually shorts are very good for growing your audience because people get that dopamine rush from, you know, watching short form content. But I always kind of found it annoying as a viewer to watch a bunch of shorts and then go to their channel and they only have shorts, which, especially on YouTube, because I'm not on TikTok. Like, if I was just on TikTok, that wouldn't be an issue, right? But now I kind of see why people mainly make shorts. It might be a generational thing, but I've always found making short form content kind of tricky. And a lot of that has to do with the fact that when I was in the formative years of my life, like TikTok wasn't around, and Vine had just become popular my freshman year of college, and Vine is the precursor to TikTok, right? That's where you have like certain people blow up. Those are the places where some of the popular YouTubers now have first got their start, was on Vine. So short form content has always been a thing. It was just not a thing I ever got into when I was younger, and now that I'm older and it's huge, like for me, it feels weird to even make it. Because I remember when I was in high school, college age, I felt a little bit more social media savvy, at least. But now, as I'm approaching 30, I see the trends and I'm like, I feel like an out of touch loser. I am familiar with the trends, but I don't ever try to chase those trends because, one, I've never been trendy, but two, I would feel like an out of touch loser if I ever attempted to. But going back into my stint into making daily videos, it is surprisingly easier and harder than I initially thought. It is easier in the sense of like execution is so much easier because I just have to film a couple seconds on my phone, make a couple edits here and there in CapCut, and then upload, and it's like a minute. But like, it's harder in the sense that in order to make a short form video, there's a lot of planning involved. I don't say my coaster series is well planned, but there is a plan, and that plan is to make a coaster every single day with dice. But in terms of doing some of the TikTok trends, like the dances, you have to learn to dance and whatever. So that's why I say it is easier to do than expected, but also harder to do than expected too. That's kind of how all social media is. It's like, it's seemingly easy, but also more tricky than you think. That's why company brands have social media managers, because not everyone can do it. And I'm not the most social media savvy person either, just because I'm not in marketing. I'm not a marketer. My day job is not marketing. If anything, my day job is actually in something completely different, where it requires me to know some trends because it impacts the things I have to do at the end of the day, but I don't have to constantly keep up with trends and like chase things like that like a marketer would. So now that I'm uploading videos to the internet, it's interesting. Now, in terms of other things that I'm working on outside of my Daisy Coaster series, I'm obviously working on this temperature blanket, and I have a couple of abandoned whips. I just haven't gotten around to working on it because I've been focused on my Daisy Coaster series, and the yarn I pulled out for the Daisy Coasters has been overtaking my craft room, and it's kind of annoying, but I'm hoping I can actually clean it up once I actually get my Daisy Coasters done. Basically come May, I'm hoping I can actually like reorganize my craft room. The other thing taking over my craft room are the box of 500 squares that I still need to put together, and I just haven't been doing that, mainly because I definitely bit off more than I can chew for that. It's a lot, and it's essentially the unfun part of crochet, which is putting everything together. So I have been experimenting a little bit with like joining methods of like what's easiest for me to do a lot of. And I've already accepted that I don't want to do anything bigger than a baby blanket anymore after one of my blankets. I do think I need to just sit down one day or just a weekend and only work on that, work on nothing else but that. Maybe I can do it as a YouTube video challenge, but we'll see. But in terms of challenges though, I have started to try knitting more. And I do have a video in progress where I'm trying to knit color work in the round. And keep in mind, the only thing I've ever knit properly was that chunky knit beanie from Compassionate Kelsey. So color work in the round is definitely ambitious. It's not hard, but it's definitely ambitious. I need to go grab another color of yarn that I did not bring out with me, so I will be right back. Okay, I'm back. But yeah, knitting in the round is ambitious. Very, very ambitious. And I don't know if me trying to do it was a good idea, but here I am. That video should be coming out hopefully soon, but TBD. Now, speaking of videos and just upload schedule in general, originally I have this twice a week upload schedule primarily because I wanted to try out doing vlogs and also challenges, you know, like every other crochet YouTuber. I wanted to kind of do that whole crafty vlog thing, and a couple of crochet challenges here and there, but also have to remind myself that I have a full-time job and YouTube is my hobby. I have to remind myself that the YouTubers who do more frequent uploads have YouTube as their primary source of income. And I understand it's not fair to compare myself to that, but I also like It's kind of a competitive streak. I was doing it for a while, and to be fair, I don't necessarily think it was that difficult, because at the time I decided to start doing it, I had like a gajillion video ideas. But now that's starting to kind of calm down a little bit. I'm starting to feel a little bit more pressure to upload like twice a week. So I think this video will be my last Tuesday upload, unless if I feel like it again. Moving forward, I will probably only upload on Saturdays instead of Tuesday and Saturday, just because I think I want to make longer videos, but also just like better videos, and I felt like I wasn't doing that by pressuring myself to do twice a week uploads. So I have made the decision that I want to do just once a week uploads, and like hopefully make them longer, better, and just more interesting instead of being like, oh yeah, I did that, cool. And because that's kind of at least how I felt I was approaching it. I want to be a little bit pickier about it. So I think stepping back and not pressuring myself to do a Tuesday upload is going to be the move I make. I might upload on Tuesdays again, or maybe I'll try something else, but for now, I'm going to say this will be the last Tuesday upload. Most of my focus recently has been on knitting, and I finally caved and bought a sewing machine. So you'll also see a video about that sometime in the future where I attempt to use it. I'm hoping it will be fun. I think I'll get a good kick out of it. So especially I can do a whole crochet or try sewing video. So I know I'm jumping all over the place as I'm filming this, but let me tell you that I'm a little bit concerned about my temperature blanket, and let me tell you why. The yarn I chose to use for my temperature blanket is Big Twist. Now obviously, Big Twist is the Joann's brand, and Joann's is permanently closing. And I might be SOL if I run out of yarn by the end of the year. I did pick up extra skeins of all my colors, but I have come to the conclusion that I will not be able to find my temperature blanket colors ever again. Just in general. Some yarn brands I've used before was like the Hobby Lobby. I love this yarn, and I haven't used Loops and Threads, but I think that one is comparable to the Big Twist series. But my issue isn't the yarn weight, it's the yarn colors. So I will list the colors I have down below. I think some colors I might be able to find replacements for, but I don't think I'll be able to find all of them. And that might be a problem. Again, I do have a second skein of all of my colors, so I'm really hoping that will be fine. But in the case I run out, it's definitely going to be an adventure of, can I find a Big Twist value equivalent? Wish me luck on that. It's only April right now. I think I've used like maybe a third of all the skeins in my temperature blanket so far, which I'm not sure if that's a good sign or if it's a bad sign. Because I know for sure I'm done with the cold month temperature colors for now, but obviously winter exists later in the year, so I don't know. So I started joining the squares together for my temperature blanket using the join as you go method, and I connected all three of them together. It's a lot smaller than I expected it to be, probably because I didn't block it, but I don't know, I was expecting this blanket to be a lot bigger than it's turning out. And maybe I just need to wash it and see, but it sounds like this blanket is just going to be a throw blanket because it's kind of tiny. It's about this wide, which feels kind of small for a temperature blanket. Maybe it might grow if I add a border. Those are kind of all the crochet updates I had. It wasn't a lot since I kind of chilled down the crocheting for now. Yeah, let me know, what have you gotten up to in the month of April so far? Have you started any spring projects? I definitely haven't. Have you started prepping for summer maybe? And if it's considering it's too late for spring now, have you started your winter projects? Let me know down in the comments. And with that, I will see you later. Bye.